Alright lads, quick video for you. What I'm going to show you today is how to repin a €0.5 lock. Comes in handy, especially if you want to try and save some money by repinning your lock slightly different to get yourself a different combination. It becomes a whole new lock to pick. The reason I'm showing you the €0.5 is because with Locksport, usually you're going to buy half locks like this one. It's a lot cheaper than buying a full one. It can only really be used by us to pick with and play with. You can't put it in a door and use it as a normal lock, obviously. There's only half of it. One thing I suggest is that if you can buy pins and top pins from anywhere, you buy them cheap off eBay, buy a load of them, then you've got loads to play about with, you see. Got loads of spools and mushrooms and serrated top pins and all sorts. So it's worth having them because you can always make up your own locks. What you're going to need is some tweezers, plug follower, which you can make out of cardboard or a can. It's good making it out of a can because you can change the size of it by rolling it up tighter. Cardboard, easy options, or you can buy yourself a dedicated one. It comes in a repinning kit. You get different sizes and all sorts. So, right. Also, what you're going to need is a tool to get the circlip off the back. These come with the pinning kits. They're alright, brilliant, but pretty lethal. So what you can do is you can buy yourself some circlip removers. These are brilliant. But with the sprung steel circlips on the back of the lock, you want to be careful using these because it will fly off like a bullet. Really dangerous. Right, so what you're going to want to do first, I'll get this in focus for you, is you're going to want to pick it open, or if you've got a key, use a key with it. And you want to turn it halfway, like that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the circlip off the back of the lock. I'll use a circlip pliers for it. Like that. And what you can do is you can take it off. Now if you're using a key, it's not too bad at this point. But if you've picked the lock open, what you want to make sure is that when you've taken the circlip off the back and you've wrestled it off, you've not accidentally spun the plug back up and locked it, because you'll have to re-pick it again. So you want the key or the lock just at a turn like that. Now the next thing you want to do is make sure that the top of the keyway is facing downwards, like that. And the reason for that is, I'll show you in a minute. So what you want to do is, if you have not got a key, you can use your finger on the plug, but rest the key against the palm of your hand up there. Take your plug follower, and what you want to do is you want to just touch the two together and just keep it like a firm press on it together, and then slide your lock over onto the plug follower. Now the reason I told you to keep the top of the keyway facing downwards is because the top pins will fall out if you got it upside down. There you go. Right, you don't need a key for now. So what you can do with this is you can dump it out. Now these are your top pins, or your key pins, whatever you want to call them. And you know that they're key pins because, if you can see that, I'll try and get it in focus for you. Come on. Wow. You can see how it's rounded at the top. And that's how you know it's a key pin. Makes it a lot easier for the key to slide over it, you see. So they're your top pins. And what you can do with that is you can move the order around of them. So you've got 1 to 6. Start swapping them around, putting them back in the plug. Your key will no longer work with it, obviously, because you've changed the order of the key. So I'm not going to change them for now. I'm just going to leave them as they are because it's just a demonstration, but that's one way you can change the lock slightly. Next thing is to empty the pins out of the lock, the security pins usually, and what you want to do is you want to slowly, that's the front of the lock, just put your finger or your thumb over the end, because these pins are going to fly out when you remove the plug follower. Slowly pull back the plug follower and you'll hear like a click. You want to pull it back slowly, and then your first pin will come out. There we go. Pull it out slowly, and then you're going to get them out one at a time, and you can keep them in order then. That's all 6. If you can see in there, you've got all 6 holes, because this is a 6-pin lock. You can tell by the amount of holes at the bottom. So also what you can do is you can dump the springs out as well, because obviously there's springs in those holes. I hate picking up springs with tweezers. The two don't go hand in hand. See? Right, so these are the pins that sit in the middle of the lock. These are all mushrooms on this one. So when I told you to keep all the pins and grab as many as you can, it's because what you can do is you can swap them around. So you can take these mushrooms out and put spools in, or serrated pins. Changes the lock a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. Absolutely empty €0.50 now. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to repin it. Obviously when you've jumbled these around to your liking, you need to put it all back together. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your springs and you're going to put the springs in first. You're best off grabbing them at the top and pushing them in so the back of the spring's facing you and dragging it along. And you can drag it over the hole you want and just drop it in. Okay, got all my springs in there. So the next thing to do is to get your plug follower and push it in the back of the lock just until, you can't really see because of the light. I wonder if this will work. There you go, got a light on the camera. Now what you want to do is you want to push the plug up just up to the first hole that you come up to. So it sits just before the first hole. And you're going to grab your first pin. Now in mushrooms obviously you want the serration around the top facing upwards. And what you're going to do is you're going to push it and hold it over the very last hole, slot number 6. If you can really see that very well, but I'm just holding it just inside the hole. Then what you want to do is when it's just inside the hole a little bit is push the plug follower up against it. It traps the pin. If you can really see that very well. But basically the plug follower is pushed against the head of the pin. So you've got about, I don't know, 2 mil of the pin sticking through still. Being trapped in the hole. And you've got the plug follower pushed up against it. So the next thing you want to do is you want to just, whilst you've still got pressure on the plug follower, is just push the rest of the head down, and then the plug follower will slip over the hole, and that's the first pin done. You're going to repeat that. Get this one over the 5th hole. Push the plug follower up against the side of the pin. When it's trapped, push it down and it just clicks in. So essentially what you're doing is, it's like when you're setting the security pin in the lock when you're picking it, it gets trapped sideways. Then you just push it down and it gets the rest of the pin in the hole, just like on the shear line. The light is awful in here, I'm sorry about that. Might be able to show you a bit better with the last two. Just rest it over the hole, push the plug up, and see how it's trapped it, squashed it, and you get your tweezers back on top, push it in, and the last one, it's trapped it there, look. Push it straight through, there you go. Now that part is repinned now. Next thing you want to do is take your plug. Now you want to put your pins back in. So what you want to do is, when you put the pins back in, you want the rounded edge facing downwards, because this aids the key going in and out. I'm going to drop them in, whatever order you want. Obviously if you change it round, your key's not going to work. So make sure you don't put too nasty security pins in case you want to get it apart again. Oops. I'm sure there's hundreds of videos on YouTube showing you how to do this, but this is for our forum on your UKLocksport.co.uk. Absolutely brilliant lock picking forum. Now, when you've got the two together, careful not to dump the pins out again by turning it too much. There's the front of the lock. So what you want to do is, you don't want the pins to be facing directly upwards. These ones here. So you're going to turn it slightly. Okay. Same as what we did, but in reverse with the plug follower. You want to put the plug just on the plug follower itself. Put a bit of pressure on the back of the plug follower with this finger here, look, just to support it. And what you want to do is you want to slowly push it back in. Slowly. Don't go chucking it in really fast. There you go, pushed it back in. Now what you can do is you can turn it round and lock it up. You let the pins click into place. There you go. Sorted. Circlip time. Right, make sure that it's nice and flat. It's bent out of shape, but it'll be alright. Clip it back. Now you're best off with a pair of pliers and just squashing it flat again, or you can chuck it in your vise and close it up. The only thing I've got to hand right now is a pair of wire cutters. So what I'm going to do is dangerously is just squash it back into place without cutting my finger off. I don't advise using cutters to put the circlip back on. It's really dangerous. There we go. I can squash that up a bit more. Completely cosmetic like that. It would work without it. Right, sorted. I mean, obviously I've repinned it up the same way, so my key's still going to work. There you go. That's how you repin a €0.5. Repinning the full euro is a bit more difficult. You need another tool to do it with, namely this one. And what you can do is you can rotate the keyway halfway around and slot this on. And what it does is it holds the pins in place. Well, I'll do another video on that later. But yeah, that's how you repin a €0.5. So cheers for watching. Come and join us on UKLocksport.co.uk. plenty of hints and tips on how to pick locks. Brilliant. Thank you very much, guys.